So Alfie, do you remember what was at the back of the building, behind the stage?
Yes, behind the stage were rooms where people could sit, where they're resting before they came onto the stage.
And did they make the costumes there and things?
Yes, they were sitting down there in their costumes, waiting to take their part in the play.
So a lot of happy memories for you here.
Very much indeed, yes, I loved them all.
Did it make life in the camp a bit easier for you?
Well, it kept us busy. Otherwise, most of the prisoners had 90% boredom in their lives in the prison camp. But if you kept yourself busy in such as amateur dramatic society, or in the school learning, or lectures, or in the library, and all things like that to keep you going, and that made the time go better.
Well, I think your audience awaits.
Yes.
About Tunnel George here.
Well, I don't know when they began Tunnel George, but I arrived in the end of June 1944, and the tunnel was already in progress then. In fact, by the time we moved out in the following January 1945, on the beginning of the Long March, the tunnel was almost complete.
And what was the purpose behind it?
Well, it was dug from underneath the theatre, which meant that we couldn't use it for escape purposes because it would be breaking the agreement with the Germans that we wouldn't use the theatre for escape purposes. But it was used dug as a security tunnel in the event that the Germans moved in to try and murder everybody, to shoot everybody. The tunnel was going to be used to break out of the camp.
So where exactly was it in here? Do you remember?
From about here.
From right where you stood?
Yeah.
And you went down into the tunnel, did you?
Yes, yes.
Could you describe what it looked like inside and what was in there?
All the tunnels were basically the same. There was an antechamber, which was about 10 feet square, where all the preparation of the lamps that were used to light the tunnel, the lamps were trimmed, and also where the pump was. The pump was made out of a kit bag. There's an example up in the museum, I think, to pump the air up to the where the tunnel's being dug, up to the
so how come
coal face, so to speak.
So how come the Germans didn't find it? I mean, what sort of security was in operation for this? The same as the Great Escape Tunnel, or?
Yeah. In fact, they used to use band rehearsals to cover the noise of digging.
And how deep was it and how far? Do you know? Can you recollect?
The tunnel was about 10 feet down.
And how far did it go? Do you know?
I don't know what the length of it was, but it was designed to come out the other side of the up near the armory, which was outside the main gate. So the tunnel ran off in that direction.
Do you remember it, Frank? Do you remember this tunnel as well?
The idea of it was that we should be able to arm ourselves in the event of a revolution, should it be. I mean, the whole camp was organised into parties, and we all had our own responsibilities of what actually you would do if there was a unrest and
assassinate everybody.
Yeah.
So it must have been very tense, though, with this atmosphere, or?
Well, we just accepted it. I mean, it was discipline, army life. I mean, you know, RAF life.
And this, again, is the first time you've been back here in 60-odd years, isn't it?
Oh, yes, yes.
So what's it like seeing the theatre now, gentlemen?
Oh, brings back lovely memories. I was just saying to Ivor, the night we moved out, Squadron Leader Jennings, who was the camp adjutant, marched onto the stage. There was a dress rehearsal for the final play, and gentlemen, you will be moving out in 1 hour's time. And as he said that, the front row of the store of the things walked back, and the
seats folded back.
Yeah,
chaps came up from
all the chaps came out. They'd been digging it down there while the rehearsal was on.
And that was the signal for the Long March?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you heard about the Long March evacuation in here?
That was it. Well, I mean, those of us who were in there, but I mean, obviously, there was only certain. I mean, okay, we were full. I mean, it accommodated about 200, I think, on the auditorium. I would say.
Well, I think it was at least that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
In the event, the evacuation was delayed by several hours.
Oh yes.
Yeah, as it turned out.
We just lay in our bunks and waited, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh no. but they were
Apart from the
transported.
tunnels, I was told. I don't know.
Well,
Frank, there was
I've never had that confirmed.
a radio transmitter. Tell us about that.
Well, we
George.
built a transmitter, again, in the case of that we could communicate with our own forces if necessary. But the transmitter valve was kept in the film projector. It never fitted in, because once we'd done that, it was espionage and we could all have been shot. But there was a transmitter built because my mate, Petty Officer Cunningham, was part of doing that. And I did part of the soldering job on it.
So behind you, Frank, was the Appelplatz and the sports ground. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, as I say, this stretched right down to the perimeter wire, and beyond that was the south compound where the Americans went there. But there was a big bank of soil was left out from excavating the theatre, and you sit on there. And we had cricket matches, rugby, football, softball, you name it. We had the sports.
It was just over here. Do you want to just walk over with me a bit, and then we'll... Do you remember it, Ivor? Do you remember the sports field in Appelplatz?
Yes, I do,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
We played rugby on it.
yeah. I was brought forward to opposite to Mick Shand. Yes. Oh, yes.
So
I was the same height as him, so he was out of prop, I was in.
So you can see it very clearly looking over here now. It's still quite flat. And Charles, it was on there, on the Appelplatz, just behind us, that you heard about the murder of the 50.
Well, they announced it when we were on parade, and everyone was absolutely staggered, and so much so that someone saw a vehicle parked in the distance, which was quite unusual, and jokingly said it's a gas wagon. And the fact that we all turned around and, half believed it shows the state of mind of so many of the prisoners.
So this shot was taken by Frank, and in the rear it shows the theatre building. And they're having a game of football exactly where we are stood, and behind them is the theatre. You can see to the right-hand side the main theatre itself. So you can see it's higher than actually the auditorium itself. And then if we drop the camera down to a current day comparison, we're stood in exactly the same position. And the stage is on my right, and then the auditorium is on my left. Well, we've now arrived at the barns here at Lipna, which is where most of the long marchers came through on the long march.
Yeah, we were.
So Frank, you're pretty sure this is it?
Yes.
You are?
Yeah, I was in that one.
Go on.
So you remember this quite clearly?
Definitely.
Where did you come through then? You came through the gate?
Through there, and there were wagons parked here where the refugees coming, and some went in there. My mate went in there, and I went in there, and the top floor, it was straw. There was straw all over, and we snuggled down onto the blanket.
And what about this house behind us?
Well,
the manor house?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I think that was open then, obviously, and there was a little cellar down there with a boiler, and in the morning that's where we defrosted our bread, which was frozen solid.
So if you just show me again, you were up in the barn over
that one.
In that one up there, in the top.
And that one was occupied as well. We had there wasn't enough room. But I remember this distinctly. Oh.
This must be very strange for you coming back here after 65 years.
Oh.
It's a long time ago.
It is. I was absolutely shattered. Oh. And I still go walks now, I'm daft.
So tell me about what the conditions were like here.
Well,